If you calculate a 90% confidence interval, does that mean 90% of your data actually falls inside that interval? Just think about that for a second. Well, if you said yes, don't worry, but you've just fallen into literally the single most common trap in all of statistics. By the end of this explainer, you're going to understand exactly how to construct a confidence interval, the actual real mathematical logic behind it, and what that 90% figure actually means in reality. We're going to bust this myth completely, step by step, so you literally never make this mistake on an exam or in your own research. Okay, let's dive into this, using a perfect example from the OpenStax Introductory Statistics Lab. We're looking at a small sample of a much larger dataset containing the exact heights of 100 women, measured in inches. For the sake of our lesson today, let's treat these 100 women as our entire target population. Now, because we're in a lab setting and have the luxury of seeing the whole population right off the bat, I'm going to give you a secret cheat code. The actual, true population mean for all 100 women is exactly 63.4 inches, right? Keep that number locked in your head, 63.4. But in the real world, you almost never get to see the whole population. You usually only have the time and resources for a small sample. So let's do a little experiment right now. Step 1. We use a random number generator to pull just 10 heights from our big list of 100. Step 2. We calculate the sample mean from just those 10 specific women. And then step 3, we're going to construct a 90% confidence interval right around that specific sample mean we just found. Now, the really interesting part is how we actually build that interval mathematically. To calculate it, we take our sample mean, whatever that happens to be for our 10 randomly picked women, and we combine it with the standard deviation. For this specific lab, we're assuming the population standard deviation is known to be exactly 3.3 inches. We plug that 3.3 along with our sample size of 10 into our formula to create a range. We get an upper boundary and a lower boundary, and that resulting range, that is our single, unique 90% confidence interval. Let's move to a real-life classroom analogy to make this crystal clear. I want you to picture this. You're sitting in a massive lecture hall with 99 other students. Every single one of you draws your own completely unique set of 10 random heights from that original table. And then everyone calculates their own sample mean. Because your 10 women are different from your neighbor's 10 women, your sample mean is going to be different, which means your calculated confidence interval is also going to be different. Now imagine all 100 of you walk down to the front of the hall and write your custom intervals on a Johnny chalkboard. All right, let's do a quick retention check here. We now have 100 completely different mathematical intervals written on the board. Some ranges are a bit higher, some are a bit lower. But remember our cheat code from earlier. The true, actual population mean of the room is exactly 63.4 inches. So here's the big question for you. If we look at all 100 intervals generated by the class, how many of those intervals will actually have the number 63.4 trapped somewhere inside their boundaries? The answer is approximately 90. That's right, about 90 out of the 100 classroom intervals will successfully capture that true hidden population mean of 63.4 inches. The other 10 intervals, well, they're going to completely miss it. They'll be way too high or way too low, totally missing the mark. This visual, 90 successful intervals on a board of 100, is the absolute core of what confidence intervals actually do. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference between statistical myth and mathematical reality. The myth is that a 90% confidence interval contains 90% of your individual data points. No way. That is entirely false. The reality is that 90% of all intervals constructed this way will contain the true population mean. It's like the interval isn't a giant net trying to catch individual women's heights. It's a highly targeted net trying to catch the overall average. Let's prove it right now. I want you to just mentally count the actual data points from our table that might fall into just one of these intervals. If you build an interval, say it ranges from 61.5 to 65.3 inches, and you go back to the original list of 100 women, you might only find 20 or 30 individual women whose heights actually fall in that exact range. You will almost never find 90 women in there. And why is that? Because the random variable being used in the formula is the sample mean, not the individual heights. Expecting the interval to hold 90% of the raw individual data just doesn't make any mathematical sense. So, the crucial point is how we define this formally. Now that we understand the basic visual idea, let's look at the strict technical definition. A 90% confidence interval is a range of values constructed from sample data so that 90% of similarly constructed intervals will contain the true population mean. It's all about the reliability of the statistical process, not the spread of the data. If you repeat the sampling process endlessly, 90% of the nets you cast will successfully catch the fish. Now let's see how this builds into the exact phrasing you need to use. To lock this into your memory, exactly as the OpenStax textbook lays it out, the scientifically correct way to state your conclusion is this. We are 90% confident that the true population mean lies within the confidence interval. It's a very precise, very careful sentence. We don't say there's a 90% probability that the mean is in your specific interval, because for any single interval you calculate, the mean is either definitely in it or it definitely isn't. Instead, we're saying we are 90% confident in the mathematical method that produced the interval.
Before we finish up, I really want to leave you with a fascinating real-world problem to ponder. In our lab explainer today, I gave you the cheat code, right? We knew the true mean was 63.4. But in the real world, you do your research, you pull your 10 random heights, and you construct your single interval. Without knowing that true population mean, could you ever know for certain if your specific interval actually captured it? The answer is no. You never know for absolute certain. And honestly, that inherent beautiful uncertainty is exactly why statistics exist in the first place.